Hi everybody, we're going to talk about positioning today in our little education video. So the first product I'm going to talk about are the Philips products. That's your Snuggle Up, your Frederick T Frog Beanbag, and your Bendy Bumper. These products are made by Philips. We have them in the room for you to use, the linen room. These products have weight gram by grams on the product themselves for the Snuggle Up. So when you use these products, please be mindful of how much your baby weighs. The IUGR kids sometimes are a little longer and you kind of have to fluctuate between sizes if you have one of those kids, but otherwise their weight should kind of align with the positioner that you pick for them. And then most of our tiny guys are using the Bendy Bumper, the small Bendy Bumper. So we're just going to review best practice use with this Snuggle Up product. These products are meant to be used in combination. So you're not just using a Bendy Bumper, you're using a Snuggle Up and a Bendy Bumper. And these are for our kids in the more intensive end. It's important, so what we want is midline and flexion. That's what we want for these babies. And when you have midline and flexion and you can maintain that position, kids in general are happier and more stable. So the trick with this Snuggle Up that is tripping people up sometimes, including me, is that you really need to make sure their butt is as far down into that sleeve as it can be so that they get a nice tuck. If you position a kid a little bit higher up in this product, they're gonna kick their feet out. They're looking for a boundary. Kids are gonna look for boundaries wherever they can get them, and they're gonna keep looking until they find one. And that's a lot of extra burned calories that we don't want them to waste. So when you're using a Snuggle Up, it's really important to get them into a nice posterior pelvic tilt, get them down there so they're in there nice and snug so they can push against that side. Elevate that bottom piece so that they have something to push against. So that's what we like to see as far as hip position and the bottom of this Snuggle Up, where they should be in it. This baby's a little short for this, but we're gonna make it work. When you get to your straps, use your straps, that's why they're there. So if you have a baby like this one that's kind of so far down in it, you're like, man, that's coming across their face. You can twist the ties on it, and then you can pull them down so that you can, again, try to get some flexion of the upper extremities to get their body in a nice position so they're nice and midline when they're on their back. And when you tie these, you can kind of move them up and down depending on where you need them to work. And again, hands towards face is what we want. Our pretend lady here doesn't really bend at the elbow, so just pretend there. But you can tie them to allow you to get more control over where they are in space. Before I tie her in though, the one thing that I did forget to do is to use my Bendy Bumper. So the way that we've been using the Bendy Bumper is different than the way Philips recommends you use the Bendy Bumper. So I'm just gonna show you what they recommend. So once you get your baby nice and low down in this Snuggle Up and you feel like they're in a good position, you're then gonna take your Bendy Bumper and you're gonna slide it right into the Snuggle Up. That's gonna give you a nice snug position that you're going to be able to maintain, and they're getting nice containment everywhere, remembering, you know, the uterus has a top, so we want kids to get containment everywhere. So that's going to give you a lot of nice positioning there. Then you can flex their hands. I've already tied this, and I can wrap it across the other side to get them nice and contained. Look at how happy that baby looks right now. If you have a kid that's on a vent, or a kid that's really squirmy and you're worried about if they're turning their head this way and you're like, that's gonna be right in their face, you can take a, what are those things called?
Posy.
A posy, and snap that posy right on there to get it away from that baby's face. And when you see this baby positioned in prone, you'll be able to see what I mean. So that's just another option. So this is this system being used appropriately. Bendy Bumper is a big upside down U. They're getting nice input at their feet. Pretty baby.